welcome to the first of two very special pre-recorded Health Hits Experience Campaign 2 backstory sessions for you. We had an opportunity to record some one-on-one backstory sessions, and you're going to get to see two of them right now. Enjoy! Ember had looked you up and down with disdain, not because of who you were or what you were asking, but simply because that is how she looked at everyone. Your plea to meet with the king as a representative of Boila had been noted, and although she looked as though she had smelled something rotten, Ember had procured you a meeting with the king and his military advisor with haste. You find yourself now in a stone chamber in the presence of the king and Earl Grey.
I thank you for meeting with me, Your Majesty.
What seems to be the problem?
Well, I'm here as a diplomatic envoy from the kingdom of Boila. Our king sends his regards, and he asks for the kingdom of Diction's assistance against a great and common foe, the likes of which we have never seen before.
Go on.
Well, Hack kind of straightens out his cap a little bit there, and he obviously goes into what appears to be a kind of a rehearsed speech that he's probably been thinking of how to say this the whole time he's been traveling here. As Your Majesty is aware, ever since the cessation of hostilities between the Kingdom of Boila and the Kingdom of Diction generations ago, we have kept to our place and you have kept to yours. The peace has been maintained. In our land of Boila, we found a different enemy against whom we could slake our natural cravings for violence. A species of rodentia called the sewers. Rather feral, mindless, but they have a capacity for violence that nearly matches our own. Rather fun enemies with which to engage. Fortunately, although they outnumber us greatly, they do not share our capacity for reasoned violence. They're just mindless. And so we've been able to hold them at bay gleefully lo these many years. However, in the very recent past, something has changed about the sewers. Whereas before they would just launch themselves in wave after wave against our kingdom, throwing themselves up to be slaughtered by our red-cap legions, they seem to have developed a capacity for tactical thought.
You see, like Earl Grey, his like little eyebrows go up.
It started out with a notice that some redcaps had gone missing off patrol. A few storehouses had been raided in a manner inconsistent with the machinations of the sewers. Enough so that we thought that perhaps it was in fact Diction who was resuming hostilities. But we had a survivor tell us that he was set upon, lured into an ambush by some of these sewers. They pulled a unit of ours into a situation where they thought they were going just on a routine mission, and they were set upon in ambush. After that, things got worse. We found that the sewers began using not just tactics but actual strategy against us. Formations, principles of warfare that we didn't think they were even capable of. Enfilade, defilade. Eventually, we came to find out through our own intelligence sources that some kind of a new creature had taken over. A king of sorts. It seemed to be an agglomeration of sewers that had somehow grown together tails entwined and creating just a massive squirming ball of sewers that moved and acted as one organism, and it seemed to have an intelligence far surpassing anything that we'd seen before, rivaling even our greatest strategist. Furthermore, it could seem to communicate with the other sewers without speaking, without words. It was as though the entire species was now one intelligence. You have no idea how terrifying that was. They laid siege to our capital, and within a matter of days, it looked as though our defenses were going to fail. We were taking heavy losses, and our king decided that our only hope was to seek aid from outside. And so he sought me out as the only member of our species who has even a hint of diplomacy about him, to come forth and petition your kingdom to assist us in repelling this terrifying new danger. So I humbly beseech your majesty, send us aid, for if you do not, I fear that we should be wiped out to the very last red cap.
The king turns to Earl Grey, who already is he's pulling out maps and has been taking notes of what you've been saying. And he looks at the maps, Earl Grey does, and goes, What resources are you asking for again? Are you asking for our full military forces? What exactly, resource-wise, does your king want?
Hack kind of grimaces, and you can tell he's clenching his teeth because he's very, very much wanting to just reach across and slap the living bejesus out of this Earl Grey fellow, but he's keeping himself in check. He's keeping himself under control. And he says, I'm not certain that I've properly conveyed the scope of this threat. So let me try again, your earlship and your majesty. The redcaps are a species bred to violence, bred to war, bred to carnage. It is what we live for, it is what we die for, it is the source of our sustenance, it is our means of existence. This new foe threatens to overwhelm our forces. I ask your majesty, should the kingdom of Boila fall, what do you think stands between this enemy and your kingdom? So yes, we're asking for every resource that you can muster. We're asking for every conceivable bit of help that you can throw our way. Because if we fall, then the kingdom of Diction will fall next, mark my words. This is unlike anything any of us has ever seen, any of us has ever imagined. And they must be stopped at all costs. And we're not enough to do it. I don't know that all of us combined will be enough to do it, but it's the only chance we have. You either fight with us, or you fight alone when they come to your down next.
In your outburst, you had gotten really close.
Yes.
And the Earl, kind of started to leap across the table at you as well. There's a lot of tension in this room.
Sure.
And the king very calmly puts the Earl back, lets him dust himself off, and says, I can understand the great need you have. I, too, am here to protect the area that we reside in. However, without any personal insight into it, I do not know the scope of what we would be able to help with. I think in this particular instance, our best case is to send a expedition mission with you, for you to lead, and to show them what it looks like, where we're at, and they can come back with a full breakdown of what would be needed.
Fine, but I warn you the time is of the essence. This will have to be quick, and I hope that while this unnecessary reconnaissance mission is taking place, that you, and he points at Earl Grey, will be mustering every last force that you have at your disposal and readying them, because this is a war unlike any you've ever seen.
And the king, again, like, calm down, says, I hope you can understand my need to continue to keep our peace by making sure that we are all on the same page.
Of course, I don't know what else I can possibly do to convince you that my intentions are righteous here.
I personally feel as though I understand your plight, but from a perspective of having to deliver this information to the entirety of our forces and the council, I need to make sure that we have all the information correct. And I shall send my best forces with you. They are the top of their class, and Earl Grey shall stay here with me, and we will look at our resources of what we have, and we shall find exactly what we need when you return.
All right. Very well.
And so the king takes you to another chamber, and the earl and the king list out who their top people are. Whether or not they're actually the top people, you have no idea.
Yeah, Hack is just obviously impatient. Like, let's get this the hell over
Yeah.
with. You know, he's pacing around.
Yeah.
He's you know.
Every time you move to, like, I don't know how aware you are of this, but the earl is tracking you very closely. The king seems unflustered, but certainly is making sure to cross T's and dot I's. And they send you with 4 fairies. And I did not, I don't have individual fairies, so if you want to come up with some ideas for them, you can, but
Sure.
they're just average guards fae. Mm-hmm. They don't look anything special. This seems like a good unit.
Okay.
Maybe not an elite unit, but
Right.
again, you wouldn't know necessarily what an elite unit looks like. And they take you out on the most direct route, which I just realized. I don't know how much diction has changed in this particular area. I know, like, Medi and the Farron's Isles definitely are not conquered at this point, because that was a later thing.
Okay.
But I also don't know where Boila is in relation to where everything would have been.
I'm guessing that it probably is near or adjacent to, or if it has changed shape, probably somewhere in relation to, like, Donatenter.
Oh yeah, see, I was thinking that, or the Quiet Lands, because
because it's it's not.
You said it was outside. It would have been like, because
I think it was so. I think it was probably like an external, an external structure that houses like the boiler for the whole library complex or whatever, and all the rest of that. So, and it's probably accessed through the areas that are not accessible to the public or the readers or near the stacks. So yeah, it would definitely be
in the back area. Yeah. So I would say then that your journey is going to be a little treacherous, because it's going to go through non-diction areas.
Yeah.
And I think just for interest here, let's just see how that goes. You're leading these forces here, so I'll say that the forces will give you teamwork.
Okay.
So let's use for travel. What would you say that you would want to roll, skill-wise?
Skill-wise for travel?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
This is going to be...
I guess I don't know exactly what kind of dangers, threats, or treacherous things we're likely to run across here. So if it's mostly obstacles as far as things that need to be overcome, terrain features that are dangerous because there's no imagination or any of those kind of trappings here.
Yeah.
It'd probably be like athletics. I would think.
I like athletics. I also think that there's definitely a potential, and this might be too big for this moment, but like reader kind of interaction here, because if you're in a rush, you're not waiting for them to go home. But I think for now, let's just say athletics. Let's do an overcome, and let's say you're trying to beat a 5.
Okay.
I'll do it at 4 because none of my people have athletics.
Okay.
So if you're just rolling on your own,
all right,
then
I didn't.
Yeah, grab your refresh. We'll give you 3 because you don't have
All my stuff.
all your stuff.
All right.
So that's fine. Also, it's a short game, and I don't care that much.
Right. All right.
So roll against a 4 because I don't think that any of the forces can help you.
Okay. So so I have a 2 in physique,
Okay.
and I am going to we'll roll that. None of them can really help with this, so Hack is blazing the trail across these things. That's a +1, so that's a total of a 3.
Okay. You can take that with a
What a cost?
cost, or you can invoke something.
Let's try taking that with a cost.
Okay.
And let's say that that Hack. Let's say that Hack. Well, what kind of obstacle are we saying we're trying to overcome? Like maybe.
I mean, if we're talking about this being maybe earlier days of diction with less of imagination, cities and areas, then it would just be straight up like real things.
Yeah.
Chairs and plants and bookshelves and the stuff left on the ground, books accidentally on the ground, rolling carts.
Yeah.
Like real things, especially if the readers are in motion. Which I think maybe at this point in diction's history, the Fae are not quite as trepidatious against readers. They don't mind kind of bouncing around them a little bit because nothing has happened yet.
Right.
There are some events that have happened in the future from where we're at right now.
But not they haven't happened yet.
Yeah, they're willing to kind of be a little more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like feisty and like, mischievous. That's the word I'm looking for.
All right. So let's say that that as we're making our way through, there's like a library cart, being pushed by somebody coming through, and Hack goes to he says, "Everybody, run, go now!" And the 4 other Fae start booking across, but they're clearly not elite units, and they're kind of slow and schlubby and Hack sees that they're about to that they're not going to make it, so he clicks his little boot heels together and kind of rushes out there in a burst of speed, and he grabs them and just barrels past. One of them does not. He misses, and that one dives at this pile of Fae that are being, basically bums rushed across here by Hack.
Yeah.
Dives, grabs onto the feet of one of them that's dragging behind, but because he's further back, the wheel catches his foot and crushes it.
Your foot or
No,
the other Fae foot?
One of the other Fae.
Okay. That's not a consequence for Hack Slash.
Well, sure
okay.
it is. Yeah, these are my helpers.
That's true.
And
That's true. Okay. Then I will say.
I mean, I'm looking at it as they're a resource for Hack to use, and now one of those resources has been damaged. So.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna do. So I am going to take then. One of them is gonna take. I don't know. We'll say 2 stress, because they do have stress boxes here. So, like, slows you way down. Gritting his teeth through it, like he's not going to become a baby about it. Like he is still a guard's fay.
Yeah.
He
So
just wasn't quite fast enough.
Yeah, and now he's limping and slowing the whole party down, which of course is
making
Hack even more crazy because this whole thing is just a stupid waste of time.
Yeah.
My people are dying over there, and we're doing a little fancy running. Yeah, I love it.
Great, excellent. Okay, so, but that takes us all the way through. I think you get through, there's a lot of like no man's land kind of areas, and we just end up through, let's just say an open window in the back that gets you out to the open area behind the library.
Okay.
And then we'll say there's an easy byway that you can access from outside.
Yeah, I was figuring like the steam pipes or something running from the boiler building into the heating system inside the library or whatever.
Maybe you went through a vent.
Yeah.
Instead of a window. So we go through a vent, and that gets you into the byway.
Yeah.
As you get into the byway is when we hear, you understand it, everybody else doesn't recognize the sound of the scratching of the rat's claws on the pipes.
All right, okay.
And you can hear the sound that they make is not a rat, it's not a fairy, it's just this weird sound that has one note. It's monotone the whole time through, and it just drones in. And you can hear one right now approaching you as you're
Hack like, holds the others, puts his arms out as though to hold the others back, does like this. And he starts doing little hand signals that probably make a lot of sense to other red caps, but it's not the same signals that they use, so they're kind of looking like,
I don't know what this means.
He's da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And they're like,
in our language, that means I need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. All right. So Hack, and he kind of grabs, and kind of forcibly moves them into like hiding positions here, like to stop and see what's coming here.
Yeah.
And so he gets them all moved into into a in a concealment kind of place, just so they're not standing out in the open if something comes and attacks.
I mean, you hear a rat coming towards you.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's there. I don't know how you were envisioning these rats, but I'm envisioning like Nutcracker, Rat King, Red Eyes,
Sure. Yeah, they kind of like as you've described the other animals. They're basically just animals. They're not like anthropomorphic or anything necessarily, but they also are just a little bit viewed differently, like they have an intelligence and a movement about them that
the
reflects
Rodentia are like people, so that's the only ones that I've let be people. But the Suas, they can be their own thing. Because I have at some point, you guys are gonna meet like a mouse and a chipmunk. But that's up to you.
All right. Yeah, I would see them as kind of as more like a monstrous nightmare version. Like if somebody who has a rat phobia, and they see themselves as going up against a rat that's the same size as them in one of their nightmares, that's what these things look like. You know?
I'm seeing too like the way we depict zombies, where they're like human but not really human. So it's like rat but not really rat.
Right.
That's what I'm seeing.
like everything that is scary about rats, which we all know that rats in real life are very smart, intelligent, and charming creatures. But the sewer rats that plague people's nightmares, everything that anybody that is afraid of rats gets squicked out about.
They have fangs.
Yeah, these things are that, their fur is just matted and nasty, and their eyes are red and filled with a baleful hate, and their teeth, are sharp, and their claws are extra elongated and skittery, and and they just look terrifying.
Yes, absolutely. So this first one is out in the open, and it sniffs the air, and it smells a red cap. You can tell.
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
I think that what would make sense here, what would be kind of in keeping with the way I envision these things operating, is that like in the kind of like in Monty Python and the Holy Grail when they see the rabbit, and that's just a rabbit, and I'll go, like these three,
Yeah.
we're hiding from this stupid rat. It's just a rat. We're gonna go out there and kill it. And Hack's like, no.
No. Okay. Great. So really what's happening here is you're trying to stop.
I'm trying to stop them from attacking
from
this thing
attacking the rat.
because I think that in the old days, one of these things you just pop out and kill it because they're stupid and they're fierce, but they're a wild animal basically, and they have animal intelligence, and we're able to 4 of us can take one of these down, no problem. Hack by himself could take one of these down, no problem.
Yeah.
But Hack has seen how these things are all of a sudden cunning, they're intelligent, and one of these comes bopping right out into the open. Hack immediately thinks it's a trap, but before he gets a chance to tell them...
Communicate this, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, then I will say then maybe you've got 2 options here. What are you trying to do? Because you can either stop them or try to attack this rat.
Well, so Hack knows that he has to, these people have to survive this thing so they can go back and report to the king what all happened. If Hack just goes back and there's, all 4 of these guys are dead, and Hack's like, oh, I told you so, the king's gonna be like, yeah, you killed them.
Yep.
Here's go into the mailbox, right?
Yes, Dropbox.
So I mean, Hack knows that they have to report back what they've seen. It's not enough for Hack to say it. So, So they jump out and they're like, we're going to kill this thing. And Hack's like, no! And he kind of screams at him, but it's too late. They're already out there engaging in it. And so Hack has to jump in there and help them. But he knows that there's something bigger and more coming on. So he's looking for the actual trap that's being sprung, whereas they're just focused on this.
Sure. So are we trying to fight the rat? Are you trying to stop the, physically?
I think Hack is going to try to protect them from whatever the bigger threat that he senses is there. He sees this as the kind of ambush tactics that they've been using and that his people have been fighting against this whole time.
Yeah.
And that these diction fairies, they have no idea what's coming. It's like in Aliens or something where it's like, we're Marines, we can handle this, and Ripley's like, no, you have no idea.
So
that's the vibe I'm picturing for this scene.
I like it. Well, because if you want to try to help them, we can go with the force against the rat. If you want to try to just pull them back, then it would be you against the 4 of them.
Yeah.
So you need to tell me which one we're trying to.
I think that I'm going to try to help them dispatch this rat.
Okay.
But again, knowing that there's because that rat is a threat.
Yeah.
But there's a bigger threat. There's more of them around here somewhere. He just knows it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I imagine that's just going to be fight.
Okay.
Be fight. So we'll say teamwork for that. They all have fight, so you can add a +4 to your fight.
Yeah.
And then I will roll for the rat. 1 rat right now.
So that's even. I have a +3 in fight.
Okay.
So
that's a 7.
Yeah.
And then I don't think that this rat is going to get a 7. No, that's a minus. Yeah, so that's a 2. So you can get a success with style. What do you want that to look like?
So with style, given what Hack thinks is coming, he's going to step up, and he is going to, as they're coming around with their little swords and looking all, martial and, whoa, we are the soldiers of Diction, da-da-da-da-da, we're going to dispatch this foul beast, ho, ho, ho. Hack just kind of steps right, pushes him to the side, kicks this thing with his hobnail boots of badassery, and it goes flying up against the wall, and he turns to them and says, run! And pushes them back. So that when the inevitable ambush comes, they're out of the way, and they would have just gotten clobbered.
Yeah, I mean, I think with that, then a wave of rats comes behind you. There are so many of them. I have a number, but it sounds like there's more than the number I have. Perhaps this is even a non-fighting moment where.
I think that Probably yeah, Hack, again, it's we're not fighting these. It's run, you idiots, you dumb,
You dumb fucks.
diction dipshits, yeah, run! And so I kind of see like their eyes just going, saucer big, like holy crap. And I think that when the other rats appear, it's clear that they had been like lurking or hiding or preparing for an ambush kind of thing and jumping out.
Yeah.
Perhaps, that this was definitely a trap, and Hack was right to suspect it was a trap.
Yeah.
So that it conveys to them that what Hack has been saying is true. Mm-hmm. So Hack right now is, I think that his main thing is to make sure that these guys get out of here alive. Because, like he says, as much as they're idiots and as much as he'd like to just beat the crap out of them himself, soak his hat in their blood, no, they gotta stay alive because that's the only way that the king's gonna believe what's going on and stuff. So Hack is going to turn and try to distract or waylay or whatever this army of terrifying rats to give these guys a chance to get to safety so they can report back.
Yeah, perfect. What does that look like? I would say we can either do an overcome or create an advantage here because this is not an attack.
Right. So I think that Hack, so we're kind of in like a byway that I kind of see it as like, there's like some rusted steam pipes, there's water dripping down, it's dark, it's dingy, it's dank, it's, whatever, crumbling plaster and, like wood lath boards, behind the walls kind of stuff that you could see. And just these rats flooding out of everywhere into this passage, and skittering on the walls again, the scenes from Aliens or whatever, which, the other three, he kind of pushes them back and they're running and he kind of like stands there blocking the thing. He's got his pike there, and there's no way he's going to stand against this wave of rats. I mean, there's just so many of them. He can't possibly fight them all. And he looks around, and as they lunge towards him as a wave, he takes his pipe, his pike, his nail, and he jams it up into the ceiling where there's like a broken chunk of plaster and wood or whatever, and he kind of twists it sideways. And some plaster kind of falls and creates a little bit of an obstacle for these things to slow them down. A cloud of dust pops out, and they.
I'm gonna say that I like that idea. Let's create an advantage of like barrier.
Yeah. Like he's not collapsing the tunnel down on them or anything like that. He's creating some obstacles that they're going to have to squeeze through one at a time. They can't, come as this big giant wave of them. They're going to have to come slowly.
Yeah.
So that if he has to fight them off, he's fighting them one or two at a time instead of 30 all at once swarming them.
I'll let you invoke a scene aspect of like plaster tunnel kind of deal if you need an extra.
All right.
So
do I need to roll to have that to create that advantage? All right.
To create that advantage.
All right. So we will roll. I will try to use. Again, I think this is probably going to be an athletics thing to do it to.
Yeah. The last one.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's -2 on that. So that's a net 0.
Okay.
But Hack is a desperate ambassador.
I like that.
So he is going to get a...
Do you want to just do a +2?
Well, what do I need to beat it to create this?
Yeah, to create an advantage. Let's say that the tunnel has... We'll just use this as a physique. We'll say the tunnel has a +2 to physique. Ooh.
Oh, sorry.
So you need to beat a 3.
Need to beat a 3?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the 2 isn't going to get it done, so I'm going to have to re-roll.
I'm going to take this dice.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, oh!
That's a little better. Well done, little fate point. Thank you. So that's a +4 on the dice. Oh, we need the overhead camera to catch that.
It's just me.
Yeah. Okay. So so that comes out to a 6.
Wow.
Right? 4 plus the 2 for the athletics.
Yeah, that's a success with style. So we'll say that gives you a boost. So
Okay.
we'll say you have the advantage, and then two free invokes. I got it. I know how this game works. We're almost there. So okay, so your aspect now on the scene is plaster obstacle. We'll just say that.
All right.
And then you get 2 free invokes.
I'll just write it down here.
Yeah,
Because you don't.
I'm having it written down too, so I don't forget.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, and I think that so you are down 1 fairy. You're missing his name was.
Yeah, Hack didn't bother to learn their names,
Yeah,
so it's just
it doesn't matter.
you guys.
You guys, that guy. I was going.
If they have names, Hack's not going to pay attention to them anyways.
His name is Spearmint, but you
Yeah.
know, you wouldn't know this.
Yeah, the slightly pudgy one.
Sure. He's missing. He's just.
He's missing.
Yeah, you don't see him in the wave. You don't see him.
Is he the one that had the injured foot? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So kind of at this point, really not your problem.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but you've got 3.
I got 3 of them left.
3 of them left that are in good.
So I'm thinking that we had probably traveled some ways down the byway to we were maybe almost to Boila when they were there, right?
Almost there.
Okay.
Yep.
Good deal.
Yeah, it was just right at that basically entrance.
Okay.
And I imagine it's because if we're talking about like them developing an intellect, that somebody knew you had gone,
right,
and you were coming back.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes too much sense. Okay, yeah. So, all right. So then I think it comes down to we're trying to race to get out of this byway and back into Diction, you know.
Yeah.
Before we get overwhelmed and stopped here, you know, because
Yeah.
if we don't come back,
Right.
then what?
So if we're doing speed,
Yeah.
then I will say, I think this is an overcome,
Yeah.
and I'm going to say, I think the skill would be physique.
Okay.
Would be for the rats at least, right? To like try to race after you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But they don't have physique, so they're not extremely fast. They're just now cunning.
Yes.
But I imagine you have the forces also don't have speed either. They have fight, if you wanted that. So let's just say that I will roll for all of them as far as how fast they go.
Okay.
And then you can roll for you, and then.
And I have 2 free invokes of the obstacles and whatever that could slow them down further or give us an advantage there. Okay, that makes sense.
So I'm gonna say, so it's just a 0 for this forces. So they're running at a fine speed, but like they're not any faster than anything else. So let's see how fast you need to go. And I'm gonna also roll.
Can I
for the
use?
rats.
I'll tell you what. Can I use provoke to try to spur these other guys on to be faster than they otherwise would?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you roll for them, but can I give them like an advantage using provoke?
I would say this is actually going to be like. So if you're trying to provoke them, so
I'm trying to get them to run faster. I'm like move, you know.
Yeah, in this particular instance, I feel like still it would be opposed because right, like just the way hack and slash is, it's not a jolly good.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Which means they have to roll will, and they all have a +2.
Okay.
To will. So you roll your provoke, I'll roll will.
All right.
Oh my God.
That's a 4.
You have a okay.
Yeah, because
4.
my provoke is down to 1. It's he didn't have to mouth off as much back then. He just hit
it.
you.
Okay, they've got a +2, and that's a 0. So absolutely. So you spur them on, and now I'll say they all have the aspect of like scared back a little bit. We'll say the forces are scared. So they're now also running from you a little bit.
Yeah,
like even if it's just that like when your drill sergeant like instills it in you to move faster, like you're not really running from your life from them, but you're like
he's
booking it.
He's got you picking up the pace there.
Yes, so they're all picking up the pace, and then I'm gonna roll I'm gonna roll the rats, and I'm gonna say again, I say the physique. I've got 0 for the rats, and so they are blocked by the obstacle. that was a -1. So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
really
they're having to pick their way over the things, and whereas before it was just a massive horde that was flushing down the thing to just destroy anything in its path.
Yeah.
Now they're coming through one at a time, and they're kind of climbing over each other, and they're getting in each other's way, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
They're kind of tripping over each other because there's not enough space now,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're
All
causing
right.
their own traffic jam.
All right.
And then as you exit out the byway, we're back in the library now. You've come through the vent. You hear the sound of an undeniable just implosion, even not even an explosion, but just like you hear a and like the crumpling of
Yeah.
metal as it like comes in on itself, and you feel a huge gust of wind pushes you past out the vent.
Right.
You all tumble forward.
And Hack kind of looks back at the tunnel, and
The dust is coming
dust
out.
coming out everywhere. He's expecting to see these rats come pouring out any second, but there's nothing but just dust, right?
Yeah, nothing but dust.
Nothing but dust. He's like, what the fuck just happened there?
And everybody kind of like, there's a glint in one of their eyes to like each other. They're sharing a knowledge between themselves, but they're clearly not sharing it with you. And it's just
And
like
Hack, like if he processes that, it's on such a subconscious level because he's not clued in that right now, or suspicious of
Yeah.
what they might be thinking.
Yeah.
He's looking back at the tunnel, and he kind of fans away the dust, and he kind of pulls his shirt up over his thing to be able to breathe or whatever, and chokes his way in there, and tries to see what's going on, and makes it a little way into the tunnel,
and then you can't go any further.
and it's just completely collapsed.
Yeah.
Just completely collapsed, and so it was like one little rat paw kind of twitching there a little bit,
Sticking up like this.
Yeah, out of the rubble, just
Yeah.
a little.
Yeah.
And Hack's like, he turns around to them and he's like, what? What happened? The tunnel's collapsed here. There's no... How am I supposed to get home? How can I get... What about my people? And he's freaking out,
Yeah.
He's just absolutely freaking out. And he goes over to the pile of rubble, and he looks down, and he opens his mouth and kind of like distends his jaw, and he just takes a huge bite out of this pile of rubble, and this leaves this big, like almost cartoony imprint where this big,
Yeah.
thing has been chewed away there. And he tries to, it's like he's trying to eat his way through this. And after like 2 or 3 bites, he realizes it's like the entire tunnel, the entire length of it is completely collapsed. And there's just no way. There's like the byway itself is gone. Whatever, the little magical things, this
Yeah.
is now just a mundane collapsed section of wall.
Yeah.
The extra space
Yeah. Is
is
gone.
gone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a pipe now.
It's just a pipe now. And he's like, they're gone. There's no way to get back. There's no way for me to get home. My people, they'll be slaughtered to the last one. And he kind of staggers out of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. And he's just kind of shell-shocked.
Yeah. And it's really easy for the rest of the forces to kind of shuffle you back into Oratory City.
Yeah.
Back into Diction. You guys weren't friends.
No.
You didn't like each other.
No.
It's so silent the
Yeah.
whole journey. Like not even small talk.
Right.
Because there was some on the way down.
Sure.
There was like a little bit of like chatter.
Yeah.
Like absolutely silent on the way back. And when you get back to the castle, the king steps aside, talks to the 3 remaining, gets the full story, and comes back, and before you can even say anything, does a very intensive spell on you with the full magisterial power of the king, that no other fairy can do this level of magic. That's the whole reason why He's the king. And it's like a big golden wave that sinks into your skin and settles like right underneath for just a little bit and then disappears.
What was that? What the hell was that? What just happened there? What was that?
That was my assurance that you can stay here.
What do you mean assurance? What exactly are you saying?
I'm saying that there are certain precautions I need to take, but you certainly are welcome to stay with these precautions.
Well, I got nowhere else to go now, have I? So I would invoke the laws of refugee that all Fae are bound by when someone is cast from their home. They may petition to be taken in as a refugee and given succor. But you knew I was going to do that, didn't you? Because I had no choice. What is this safeguard? What is this? What's happened to me?
It is something that you will find perhaps a bit uncomfortable. But it is a way that we can guarantee everybody's safety here.
Whatever you did to me, you undo it right now. Do you hear me? Undo it right now!
I will not.
Hack grabs his pike and he lunges at the king. And just as the pike is going there, it's like there's an explosion of pain and agony just courses through him, and it's like he's just flattened, like he's hit on the head with like a cartoon hammer, you know, just boom, he just hits the ground in like just a puddle, and his hands, you know, kind of cramp into curled fists, and he drops his pike, and like his his joints all kind of twist and crumple, and he does like a whole kind of almost a David Cronenberg kind of, you know, it's like almost like his bones are all breaking and then reforming themselves, and he's just lying there on the ground whimpering for like you know, like 10 minutes or so of just nothing, just can't move, can't think, can't do anything. And then finally, he catches his breath. What did you do to me?
You are bound by my magic alone to never draw blood from Fae or Reader until you've earned my trust.
And Hack looks up, and there's the pain, the wave of pain has passed. You know, I mean, he's still fingering the lingering after effects of just having like every bone in his body broken and then reset. And he looks up, and his face goes from the grimace of pain to one of dawning realization, and then like almost terror, as he says, You know I'm a red cap. My heart can never dry out. I need blood to keep my heart wet, or I'll die anyway. I need to be able to keep my heart wet.
This is a protection for diction. Now, I will turn my head the other way if you are not harming anyone.
And he looks around, and you can see just the wheels are turning there, and he's in like holy shit, what am I going to do? How am I going to, you know, because the way I see it, you know, his hat just kind of naturally dries out over time.
Yeah.
But the more he exerts himself, the faster it goes, and the more it needs to be replenished. So he's like, he's like thinking, okay, like if I don't freaking move at all, I could last, how long and how dry is it, right? He's trying to do the calculations, and he's thinking, well, so you can see him trying to think through how long he can last, how long he's going to be able to go before he finds some source of blood. How am I going to get blood without being able to, actually hurt somebody to get it? That's the red cap's nature, is to inflict, carnage and their.
And the king is still looming over you, and he says, perhaps I can find ways to use your skills. We can come to an agreement for you to gain my trust.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't see any choice to have. Otherwise, if I gain your trust, then you'll remove this from me, and I can be as I was. I don't. And he kind of just has a look of acceptance and, mixed with despair and whatever.
This middle section was rated by the studio crew. Therefore, I've had to record it again. This is now the middle section of the backstory session. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you drink some water. Do some comments in the Twitch channel. And remember, this is not live. We pre-recorded this so you would have something to enjoy while I am not here in the state. I hope that you enjoy this next backstory. This underground area is fairly new. When the grandfather clock was installed next to the support column in the library, the fairies that took over were of the more clandestine variety. It was soon run by a fairy named Pine. Tall, thin, typically wearing a pinstripe suit, dragonfly wings, and long iridescent hair, with a pair of goggles sitting on top of his head. Through a series of messengers, he had reached out to you for a sensitive job. You make your way through the gears and the piping, easily dodging the puffs of steam that come out of that. Your duster and hat don't put you too out of place in the underground, many fairies wearing dark colors and long coats. Before too long, you arrive in Pine's office.
Well, this is awfully odd, don't you think? Calling in someone from so far away.
Well, I heard you had special skills.
Who'd you hear that from?
Oh, well, I'm developing a network of my own.
Yeah, I can tell. You're, new to this, ain't you?
I have experience, but not in this area, and I think that this could be a great development here.
Right. What kind of developments are we talking about?
I think I can build a community and build a family here.
And you're asking me to help with this community and family thing?
No. I heard that you have spider skills.
Look at me.
I'm looking at you.
I'm covered in webs.
And my 10-year-old nephew can go through a spider web on his own too. It's not really
He shouldn't.
He shouldn't, and he gets punished for it. Don't worry.
Good. Those things are dangerous.
They're dangerous, and my nephew's stupid. So,
Alrighty, I'm interested. What do you need spider wrangling for?
You may know this, but my beautiful daughter is getting married, and she has requested the most elegant veil that I can find.
You're looking for spider silk.
She wants a spider silk veil. And I said, damn it, anything for my daughter.
Family man.
I want to build a family. A bigger than just my blood. Blood comes first.
And just to be 100% clear on this, you're not trying to make any sort of alliances with any other...
Oh, I was hoping you would tell me your price. That's all I need. The wedding is next week. I'm in a rush. Name your price.
Real rush, huh?
Real rush.
So I hope that you wouldn't have any sort of problem with, let's say, one of them caravans of those imagination shipments. That wouldn't be a problem, would it?
I think I can make that happen.
Yeah, and a whole entire crate of some of them mount supplies, some new ropes, some
Now we're making a
spurs.
shopping list. All right.
You said you were desperate.
Give me an overcome roll here. Also, I'm going to try to do this here now for you and then see if this works in the future. So this is Pine's aspect, holding on by a thread. That's his. He's like angry and constantly trying his best. So what would you like to roll to overcome? Or you can create an advantage here if you would like.
I feel like the circumstance is that I'm definitely not the best at talking to people.
Yeah.
I think I'm not really a good bargainer type. However, I do have quite the spider wrangling skills, and I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So maybe I could roll a mounts check to kind of say, hey, this is my skill set.
Okay. You would have to like show it off.
Oh, right, of course.
Okay. Let's try to create an advantage here.
All right.
I think this will be, and then, yeah, let's go from there. So roll your mounts skill.
Whoops. Incredibly good, actually. That's gonna be a 5.
Okay. And I will do, you know what? I'm just gonna say this is against just a flat skill. So nothing, cool.
Gotta love them net neutral dice.
Yeah, that did nothing. Okay, so we'll say that, what should this aspect be called?
This aspect?
Yeah, because you're creating an advantage here. So it's an aspect, and I'll give you 2 free invokes.
Professional bargaining.
Okay. We're gonna say with Pine. I think this is very important that it's specific to that. So there's your 2 free invokes here.
Because I think what happens is I'm taking a step forward and I kind of jostle a little bit and the coat comes open and you can see that there's like a bunch of that equipment. You can see some of like the lassos, but then you also see some more sinister things, some more shiny, sharp bits in there. And there's teeny bit of a threat, just a little bit.
We'll say too that Pine's office is like a big room.
Yeah.
And in the corner there's a little beetle.
Yeah.
And so you can use your skills and like showcase your communication with bugs and how good you are at it. I will also let you use this in the future too. So if you can tuck that away if we don't use those today.
Sounds good.
Because Pine is relevant.
Yeah, he's still around.
Still around, unless you kill him.
Unless I kill him by the end of today.
So, okay, cool. So Pine agrees to your demands.
You're just holding out my hand, just scritching the beetle.
Yeah. Is very impressed.
Yeah.
You do a cool trick or something, and he's like, wow, so cool. And is there anything you need specifically for this particular mission? He's telling you that the spider is at the top. The one that Mahogany, his daughter, wants is at the top of the clock. So it's like, because it's the clock and it's like related to their new home and like all this thing. She's very sentimental.
Right.
So he gives you all this information. Is there anything that you need from your list that you would want specifically to go up the clock tower or just...
Definitely need to refuel on imagination.
Okay, sure.
Definitely being like, hey, look, I need some food for the journey, man.
Yeah, tops you off.
Any sort of, scrolls you got lying around. And then also, one last thing, and this is kind of an important piece of information.
Yeah.
See, you said you want a specific spider.
Yes.
You have any idea what type?
Oh, well, I'm not the Spider-Man.
Holy shit.
I didn't think you were. You're not even wearing the outfit.
Fuck me. Okay, let's try that one again. Take 2.
You ever read those?
Stop.
No, we're in a library.
The
There's
narrator's gonna
comics.
come out. Okay.
Yeah. There's comics. We know they are.
Fine, doesn't read those. Okay.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. doesn't know. I'm just gonna say that he doesn't know. Oh, fuck me.
Any sort of descriptions at all?
Big.
Yeah, they're all pretty big.
They're all pretty big. Fuzzy a little bit. I think that's why mahogany is taken with it.
Right, that makes sense.
Like glossy. She's really into the spider, and I'm worried, but that's okay.
Got a color?
A color? No, I don't let anybody get that close.
Right, that makes sense. Most of them around here tend to be brown, so it wouldn't help too much, but still worth a try.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Well.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Then.
Okay, I appreciate it. Listen, all I'm trying to do here is make my daughter happy, and if I get something else in the meantime, great, cool.
We'll see if we can't hook anything up.
I'd like to work with you again if this works out.
You do know who I work for, right?
But you're not doing that now. You're helping me.
Right. But, it ain't like I'm not gonna go back.
We're so far away. There's really no expansion happening here magically, so I'm not really worried about button up.
Let me tell you something. Just before I leave.
Sure.
Just so you're aware.
I'm aware.
Her kingdom is a lot bigger than just the aqueducts.
Understood.
She's got people everywhere. And it's not just me.
I may give off that I'm a very happy-go-lucky, nice man.
You really seem like
But I have my own network.
Good for you.
I've been connected well before this, which is why I decided to take over the clock.
Righty.
I'm also knowledgeable. But this is not about that. This is not a meeting between two very powerful individuals. This is a meeting between a man and a fairy who can get this man something for his daughter.
You are very interesting to talk to, Pine.
Well, I'm done with this conversation.
He's like really angry now.
Alrighty. I'll be back
Okay.
real soon.
Sounds good.
Definitely gonna walk out at that point.
Yeah.
Turn, have the coat do the dramatic. Yeah.
And then you see
vanish.
someone down the alley do the same thing with their
Yeah,
coats.
I'm like, it's just a thing we do.
Yeah, it's a really cool area.
All of us, whenever we leave any conversation, we always do the dramatic coat turn. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if we're like, see you later. Like,
Yeah, Pine doesn't have a long coat.
you should
but
get one.
He's got a cool pinstripe suit.
Pinstripe, it's okay.
It's iridescent pinstripes.
Yeah, well, nothing's as cool as this fucking cowboy coat.
Well, that's fine.
So-
He's not a cowboy.
No.
Okay, so
He's really missing out, I think.
well, you know what? Sometimes you're a mob boss and sometimes you're a cowboy. The two genders.
The two genders. I
Okay.
was also about to say that.
So, grandfather clock has an aspect called on the hour.
Alrighty.
If you need that. So, you make your way. I would say because going into the underground area is beneath the clock, you have to come back out to go up the clock. And when you arrive, it's a beautiful piece. Extremely tall, stretches up so high because you are but a little fairy. And it reverberates with the chimes when it goes off. And it's deep and it resonates through your bones, but still is a lovely sound. And you step into the first section of this clock. So you can get through the open door and you get in and it's dark but not unlit. You can see and you hear a sound that you are somewhat familiar with. It's like if there was a bunch of scratching that just is rhythmic almost. And you would be familiar with this because you would have worked with at least a little bit some of the Wranglers in the Farrant's Isles.
Yeah.
And so you hear the sound of dust bunnies, which essentially are just dust that's gotten some raw imagination soaked up into it, and so they kind of act a little weird. They're not sentient.
No, they're just strange.
They're just strange. And you know that you have to, if you want to go to up a little further, you got to get past this array of dust bunnies. Dust bunnies have an aspect on them called prickly, if we need that.
Ugh, okay. Well, it is a damn shame that I had to leave old Missy at home because Dad would help climb this so much. But fine. So I'm looking around, and I'm trying to like check to see what this clock looks like. And I imagine it's mostly vertical. It is a big old grandfather clock, yeah. So I got to make my way up. So is it one of those ones that has like the big swinging pendulum in the middle?
It's got a pendulum in the middle. It has been magically expanded a little bit, so it's a little bit bigger. It's got platforms. It's got gears in places that clocks don't have gears in.
Because it's just so fun.
It's so fun, and it's one of those things of people have been living in and around the clock enough that it's started to expand on the inside.
So there are people living in here.
Yeah, why not? I wasn't thinking that, but I like the idea. Like hovelly.
Yeah.
Like not like cities.
People don't mainly live here.
No.
Okay.
The weirdos live here.
Oh, hell yeah. Those are my people.
I don't have any weirdos, so we'll be making them up as we go.
Alrighty. Well,
So.
now would be a real good time to make sure that I am topped off.
Sure.
So I'm just kind of lean up against one of the walls and just pop open one of the imagination things. Chug it. It's like it's a nice lunch. I unroll one of my scrolls and I sit down and I'm just like glug glug. Eating all the ink.
Yeah. How's that taste, Broker?
Hey, you. It's pretty nice.
Cool.
It's from one of the older books, so.
To thine own self be true.
It wasn't that one.
Oh, okay.
And you know it wasn't that one.
I know it wasn't that one, but that's all I got.
You got any info on these dust bunny things?
They're like tumbleweeds.
Yeah, they ain't great, are they?
Nope. They're big. They're bigger than you. They're prickly. And sometimes they do weird shit.
Yeah, I really don't like the fact that they tend to move towards you. It's just kind of the worst. Either way, never too bad, right?
They're not alive.
No, they ain't.
So
Don't
that
have
helps.
to worry about lighting them on fire or whatever.
I mean, you could if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, they all kind of just go. That's satisfying.
Okay, all right, Broker.
What?
Pyro.
Oh, well, look, okay, you know what? I don't need you. Whatever. I'm just gonna go.
All right. So how do we get around these dust bunnies?
So I definitely start going up the gears and moving my way up towards where I believe I hear these dust bunnies nearby.
Sure.
And I imagine they all tend to cluster together, yeah?
A little bit, yeah. I think there's one rogue one.
Yeah, just occasionally, just sort of walking by.
Yeah.
How big are they compared to me?
Like they're like the size of you. I don't know if
Okay.
you've ever seen a tumbleweed. Like
They're big.
Huge.
Yeah, and I've seen them like piled up against houses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. So at the very least, you're roughly your size.
Okay, yeah, no, that ain't
Some
great.
big, some small.
I'm gonna see firstly if it's possible to like lasso one of them. Or if
Sure.
the lasso just kind of goes through them because they're dust, you know?
No, I mean I think they're gonna act like tumbleweeds. They're prickly. They're solid. Yeah, absolutely.
There's definitely a moment of just like grabbing that stray one, and just kind of like trying to toss it a different direction to see if that works.
Yeah, roll.
Why do we not have a cowboy skill? There
Well,
needs to be a cowboy skill.
Roll fight because this is gonna be against their athletics here
+3.
to move away. Okay, so they get a +1 to the athletics. Holy shit!
Wow, that's the weakest
Fuck.
dust bunny I've ever seen.
Holy crap! Okay, that one of them. There's more than one of them. Fucking shit, that's a -3. Holy shit! I can't spend my fate point this early. I only get one.
That's good.
Okay, yeah, great. You grab it.
So I think what happens is I just go and then just toss it in the air towards one of like where like the gears are meeting.
Oh,
So it just
okay.
kind of goes, just kind of
Yeah.
crushes it in there.
Okay.
Well, that's one down and about 100 more to go or something like that.
Because that was a shift of
Yeah, that was a shift of +6.
right?
Yeah, it was insane.
Okay. They have a stress box of 1.
Yeah.
Cool. So
So I think next what's gonna happen is I'm just kind of like looking at all these things like all bunched up. I'm just like,
they like kind of like are moving a little bit.
yeah, that ain't exactly what I would call ideal. So I'm just gonna sort of shuffle around in my bag that I'm carrying with me, where I just carry my travel supplies and stuff like that. And I just sort of shift things around, kind of check my box, and eventually I pull out like this little box and open it up, and it's got a bunch of these teeny little like bits of matches and things along those lines in them.
Sure.
And then I also pull out like I pull out this big like makeshift like cigar looking thing. That I've probably made myself by
Yeah.
just collecting little bits and pieces over time, just
Yeah.
kind of light that one up really quick. Just. Oh. Now, see, this is why you test the stuff before you buy it. All right, well, that ain't great. Anyways, I'm just gonna sort of walk over towards where one of them is, and I still have the thing in my mouth, and I just pull another one of these matches and just like, just kind of light it up and just say, just kind of toss it in there to see if anything happens.
Sure. Let's just roll fight v fight.
I think that makes sense.
I think that makes the most sense here.
We'll see how it goes.
Ooh,
Not good.
Not good. Well, not great for me either.
Well, I mean, I got a exactly neutral.
That's 3.
Oh. That ain't good.
They're fire resistant.
Yeah. Well, should have guessed. I don't know, I just thought maybe.
I thought maybe too, but the dice said no.
Yeah, just toss the match in there.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
It like absorbs it.
Just like,
Shimmies a little bit, even though it's not alive.
that is just the worst. Alrighty. Well, in that case, I'm gonna look around this place. And I think what I'm realizing is I don't think there's any way through these things, because there's way too many of them, so there's no way I'm gonna be just like fighting. So I kind of like look around the room and I see if there's any sort of like hanging bits and pieces. And I imagine there's a bunch of ticking gears and stuff, so anything hanging is probably a little dangerous.
Yes.
But I think I'm gonna try to Indiana Jones this.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that it's gonna be great, but I'm gonna give it a try.
Do you want to do this as creating an advantage and then we can continue using this? Or do you want to just...
Yeah, all I'm trying to do, I'm not trying to swing across them as much as I'm trying to lasso up into like the upper sort of like ceiling area so I can get up there and stay up there. And then I can try to creep across the ceiling. That's the idea.
Yeah, we'll do overcome.
I'm in the quote unquote rafters.
Okay.
It's just, weird.
Well, there's still several more, levels to go.
Of course.
Then we'll... I don't know how I want to do this. But I think...
This feels like a burglary skill, maybe.
Well, if you do burglary, I don't think that really matters against what... Unless I roll burglary, I suppose, for the clock.
Huh.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of how this is going to go.
Like, if it's opposing you... Because it's imposing you by nature of, like, physique almost.
Yeah.
Which I think maybe I'll do. Oh, that was.
I guess I'm kind of trying to do this in a stealthy way now that I think about it.
Okay.
So we could try to go the stealth route, where the idea is instead of me like doing some crazy athletic stunt, it's more that I am sort of using my speedsteriness and kind of like leaping up the different bits of the clock to kind of get above them.
Still seems like more athletics to me.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I think let's do athletics v fight. So you do athletics, I'll do fight.
Okay. Not bad.
Okay.
Oh, no, the
Holy
clock.
Shit.
Uh-oh.
That's a 4.
Well, that ain't great. Can I invoke my high concept?
Sure.
Since I'm a spider wrangling speedster, I'm supposed to be fast. So I want to add so you have a total of 4. So if I match it, it's a success with a minor cost, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll bring it up to 4. So we are tied here, which I'm happy with.
What do you want the minor cost to be?
Now the minor cost is definitely going to be that as I'm making my way up there, I sort of like lasso up into the gears and sort of have them pull me up because it like gets caught. So I kind of ride it up, and then as I get to the top, I try to.
Oh, you use your lasso.
And it just goes way into the machine. It's like, oh. Yeah. Good thing I'm getting more of these when I'm done with this. Not great right before.
Well, and you've got to the second level, which is just like the most insane gears. Like this is not even a like area that would be like in a normal clock. This is like a sea of gears.
Oh.
Layers deep, layers tall, different orientations. And you know that there's more up above you. And the aspect on the gears is rhythmic.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, they're predictable, but there's a lot of them and they're not the same rhythm.
Right, that makes sense. So each gear is, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so I'm looking over all of this. Just like, okay. I see why they didn't want to do it themselves. Yeah, that makes sense.
And as you're looking, you've pulled yourself up next to a hovel, and you hear like a little like scratching, like somebody's like peeking, like pulling their curtains from their window and like putting it back.
Just kind of look over in that direction. Gonna walk over to it.
The door,
Yeah,
knock on the door. No one's home.
Okay, think about what you just said, and maybe revise it a little bit.
No, my name's no one. I'm home.
All right. Look, I was just wondering, since
Yeah.
you seem to live in this area,
That's true.
do you ever cross all of them gears at any point?
Nope.
Just kind of stay here?
Yeah, this is the best spot. I claimed it first. You can't have it.
I wasn't asking for that.
Oh, good. Do you want to come in for a cup of tea? I feel like it's rude to talk through a door.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
And you open the door, and there's just like a teeny itty bitty little fairy who has like very cool toned colors, everything, but is wearing a brown vest and just like really spiky hair.
I feel like we look ridiculous next to each other.
Oh, yeah,
Because I walk in and just look down at this guy's like a fucking nightmare creature. Just like, howdy.
Hello. What kind of tea do you like?
To be honest, wasn't really expecting the question in the first place. I sort of assumed you already had a kettle on.
I do have but I got a bunch of different kinds.
Oh, I mean, think about it for just 1 second.
You want me to list them off?
I mean, you got any sort of more subtle flavors, so some kind of basic thing, just like a black tea?
Yeah, I think I certainly got some of those. Do you have any preference for how sooty it is? I know some fairies like that.
Well, I mean, you talking about like them soot sprites or what?
No, like you know, from ashes,
Right.
like carbon.
It doesn't really work for me too
Okay.
much. I mean, I'll drink it.
Yeah, well, no, I mean I can add it. I'm a connoisseur of teas.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got like 7 days, so I might as well learn about this. Why not?
Okay. Well, all right. So first off, you've got your different types of tea leaves, right? So
I just sit down. I'm just kind of like leaning against the wall, like, go ahead.
So first, there's the different types, right? So you can start with a black tea, or you can do what they don't dry it all the way, and then it's a green tea. But then sometimes they take that green tea and then they powder it up, and that's a matcha. So those are like the main. And then herbal tea, really, herbal tea is anything.
I was about to say, isn't it all kind of herbs?
It's herbs or fruit, or you soak carbon, and you're like, wow, it's an herbal tea because it's got no caffeine or tea leaves in it. So I feel like herbal tea is a misnomer. I feel like it's just a juice or a soup.
I don't know if I agree with the soup thing, but sure. I mean, misnomer,
It's
yeah.
a broth. Perhaps maybe less of a soup, more of a broth.
Right, but I feel like when you're thinking about a broth, you're sort of thinking about a main kind of meal.
You drink broth for a meal? You put things in the broth to make it a soup.
Right, well, I'm saying those two things have to do with one another. You're not thinking of a broth as just something you drink casually.
Yeah, some fairies do.
Yeah, it depends on the person.
It depends.
Matter of opinion.
Right. So then here's the other thing. So then what you add is you add your carbon, or you add your, ballpoint pen ink, or you add your, sugar cubes for whatever reason. Disgusting. I don't take the sugar cubes, I think. That's
Actually,
gross.
that gives me an idea. How much sugar you got?
I don't keep it around, but the gentleman across the way claims he doesn't do sugar. But we are not in the underground, so, we're all criminals here.
I mean, that is such a strange way of putting it, but I'm sure. Yeah, we are.
I mean, I like to think I'm a little straight edge, but that's, when you go around and you steal things, they say you're a criminal.
Yeah, we all know it's kind of bullshit.
It's all bullshit. But the constables don't see it that way, so I like to just, stay to myself.
Well, I am thinking about the fact that I want to go visit that gentleman across the road.
Yeah, but his name is Peter, because he thinks that he is a gentleman from the stories.
Right.
I don't know why my voice has gotten this way.
No, it's the tea.
It's the tea.
The tea just kind of makes you kind
I
of go.
feel so much more comfortable with you now. You're a lovely young man.
You sure you didn't put sugar in it?
I am like this when I'm not frightened out of my pants.
Right. Yeah. Sorry about the whole.
No one knocks on my door.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I
I'd
can't.
claim this spot, and then Pine said that nobody would come up the tower. He was building below the tower.
Thank you for the tea.
Oh, of course. Take it with you for the road.
I'll bring back the cup later.
No, keep it. I'd like to steal more cups.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna go visit that gentleman across the street.
All right.
Yep. Okay. Could use sugar.
All right.
It's very sunny.
Yeah, it's like ashy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk across, find the nearest other hovel.
I've decided his name is No One, but it's spelled Nowun.
No one.
No one. I like him. Okay.
No, I like that guy. He's cool.
He's cool.
I mean, no, I take it back. He's not cool, but I like him.
He's nerdy as hell. He's little. He probably has glasses.
He's got a special interest, and I respect him for it.
Tea, but for fairies.
Yeah. Well, I'm going across the street over to this other guy.
So, it's still across some gears.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna jump across, which is funny because I'm holding this thing now. So I'm just sort of like.
Okay, you're gonna do a jump?
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Let's do. I will say that will be your athletics versus the gears fight.
God, I gotta stop trying to do things that are athletic because I'm not good at Oh my God, I'm not good at athletics.
Well, let's see what the gears do.
Well, I have a -2, so it's not good.
Well, it's not. That's a 1. So.
This is so not worth spending fate points on.
You've got like 30 more minutes. You can spend as many fate points. I'll compel you for something later. Up to you.
I mean, I just feel like I'm fine with losing the tea. Okay.
Oh, you dropped the tea. Yeah, great. Done. Easy.
I think it's that thing where the second I get off balance, I'm just like, all right, fuck, okay, this is not worth it. Just sort of drop it off to the side.
Perfect. Okay. Cool. You make your way across.
Just to get some of the sooty tea off my coat.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And there's another little hovel.
Hey, was it Peter?
Who's asking?
The name's Dusk. Broker Dusk.
I don't think I know Broker Dusk.
Nah, you wouldn't. Most people don't.
What do you want?
I heard that you got something that might help me.
And you hear the people slide and then slide back. What do you want?
I just said.
No, what do you want for that?
I heard you had sugar. I don't love this stuff, but it does make you go a little faster, doesn't it?
And how do I know you're not a constable?
Fucking look at me.
Slides open the people again. Slides the shut. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything about constables. I'm a dealer.
Okay, firstly, you just said that out loud.
Oh, shit!
Secondly, I ain't gonna say shit. I just want some fucking sugar. Ugh. I'm not a constable because I work for someone else. I work for,
Pine? That's fine. If you work for Pine, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm doing a job for him.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. That opens the door.
Hi. I was wondering if I could have just enough, about a little pouch full.
What you got?
What do I got?
Don't give things away for free.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And look, I definitely understand. You don't want to give away your supply. The problem is, I'll really need this. And the scorpion tail just right under the chin.
Sure.
I'm not stabbing him,
Yeah.
but it's right there.
Yeah. I feel like that's a provoke.
It definitely would be.
Yeah.
According to my normal character sheet, I should have a +1, but then I printed this wrong.
Well,
Looks
maybe
like
you're not good at it
Maybe
yet.
I'm not good at it. Oh, I'm definitely not good at it.
Okay. Well, I was gonna.
Not with a
you
-2.
you took my dice.
I did. Well, so it doesn't count.
That's not how that works.
Yeah! Wow!
Wow. Well, it's a nothing. It's a 0.
Okay, well, I would like to, if I can. I'm looking at this.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything here that'll help you.
I have a bargain with Pine, which is a professional bargain.
Sure.
And I have just talked to him, so there are things about him that are like, I definitely know. Mm-hmm. So I think in this situation, I would like to invoke that if possible.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you get a free invoke if you're using this one.
Oh yeah, I do. I forgot that we're playing the Fate core system.
This is how we get Evil Hat to sponsor us.
Play Fate today.
Play Fate. Okay.
But yeah, no, I would
Yeah.
like, so like as like the scorpion tail's like right under the chin, I'm like, here's the deal.
I think before you even say anything, it's like the bit from a like bad buddy cop movie where it's like, okay, like the criminal like just like gives you the thing.
That's way too much. I'm like,
take it, man. I don't want any trouble.
all right, just tuck that one away in the bag. Thank you for your kind service.
Back so I close the door.
Ugh.
Okay, cool. So let's get you further up then.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do one big overcome to get past these gears.
Yeah, definitely doing the thing where I pull out the little bag like the sugar, kind of sprinkle a little bit into the hand, and I'm like, looking at all the gears, looking at the sugar, like, ugh. I don't want to do this. I'm gonna do it, but I don't want to do it.
Take some cocaine.
It's pretty much what it is.
It's what it is.
So I'm just gonna like take a little bit and I'm gonna pull out one of those other ink scrolls that I was given earlier on.
Yeah.
I'm kind of gonna like reach my claws into it, sort of pull out some of the ink, and then just kind of like
Make
take
it
the sugar, kind of
palatable.
like, just.
I like this. I think let's have you, I just want to see what we're doing for this. I think this is an advantage here.
Yeah, the sugar probably helps a ton.
Yeah, and I say, so, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna say you can have the aspect, you can invoke the aspect of sugar cubes.
It would be called Sugar Rush, I think,
Sugar
in
rush,
this case.
of course.
Because
Okay.
it's making me faster.
It's making you faster. So we'll just say Sugar Rush is on the table, but you have to spend a fate point if you need it.
Gotcha.
So we'll do create an advantage here.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and then we can, if this advantage works, then you can keep using it. So I'm gonna say that just because of all the things on the table, like a 2, you have to hit.
Okay, and is this, what skill am I using for this? Actually don't know. It's probably, unfortunately, it's probably still fucking athletics.
Yeah.
I keep doing athletic things.
I think because you're like consuming, let's say resources.
Okay, I mean, that's fair. That is
like-
using a resource.
Yeah, using your resource to create an advantage of speed.
I miss my other skills that I have.
Listen, everybody's a baby, okay? You haven't had your trauma yet.
There's already been a decent amount, I'm
Yeah.
sure. All right, you said resources?
Yeah.
All right, now that is just a 1.
Okay.
Now I can invoke Sugar Rush. You said
Yeah.
I created an advantage? Or is this to make that?
No, I think that this is fine. I think that sugar, like just even if we just say sugar, right?
Yeah.
Because you have it, you can invoke that to add to that. So
Yeah, so that would add a +2.
yeah,
So I'd end up with a 3.
yeah, against a 2.
Yeah.
So that's a shift of 1
Hell yeah.
for your created advantage.
Yeah.
So spend your fate point. Do that. We'll say that gets you super far. I mean,
Yeah.
that gets you past all of the gears.
It's definitely that thing where it's the scene in the movie where like everything, like time slows down.
Yeah.
It's just like, Invoker's like, and all the gears go like,
And then you just kind of like walk
like,
on them.
yeah, I don't want to do this very often.
My
Someone could get addicted to this.
Whoa! I'm thinking of the scene from Over the Garden Wall. Not Over the Garden Wall, Over the
Over
Hedge.
the hedge, yeah.
There's also some good stuff in Over the Garden Wall. Okay, cool. You make it all the way to the top. This is the
Dusting off the old duster.
top of the clock tower. The light shines through the clock face, and it's beautiful in there. And there's so many gorgeous shining webs.
Is it daylight right now, or is it night?
What do you want it to be, readers or no readers?
I feel like,
Because nighttime is
good time.
Yeah, I feel like I would just almost always rather travel at night.
Night, yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I think I'm just like looking out and there's like, I don't know if this library has one. I feel like it has a skylight, so sometimes you can
yeah.
see the moon.
Yeah.
So it's like a perfect like lookout and you can see like the moon like through that. Just like, It's a beautiful night. Kind of crazy to see it from up this high, actually. Kind of like go over to like where like the clock, like the glass is on the front, kind of like look down. It's gotta be really far down.
Yeah, it's like Grand Canyon, Mariana Trench, like, woof.
Just, wow.
And there's a reason why most ferries don't go up that high in the stacks.
Yeah, no, that's a long fall.
It's a long fall, and the weirdos go up high.
Yeah, also most of them, to be fair, a lot of them have wings.
But the wings don't work up as super
Oh yeah,
high.
they have a limit. I never thought about that because I don't have them.
Nobody has them. I came up with a cool wing mechanic and nobody has
That's
them.
not true. 2 does. They just don't work.
They don't work. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So, okay, cool. So you're up tall and
Kind of
up
like
high.
putting my hand like along, like on the glass, just kind of looking at my reflection a little bit, just kind of like.
And your senses sense there's a spider up here. And her aspect is Queen of the Clock.
Just kind of turn very slowly in that direction. I imagine I hear like that little like kind of sound.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing about spiders is they're not inherently evil.
No.
They're territorial.
They are animals.
They're animals, and they are also just automatically on the defense, just as an
Right.
animal. But I think for you, you understand that they're misunderstood.
Yes.
So the sound is not of
long time around
a evil spider coming to hunt you down. It's just like a little curious, but also get out of my house,
Yeah, you are in my nest.
please. So
All right. I'm going to turn around towards that sound. I don't know if it's currently, is it on the wall? Is it on the floor? Is it walking towards me?
Good
Do I just
question.
hear it?
you just hear it. You tell me where it's at.
Kind of looking around, kind of trying to spot it. And I think what happens is, as I look up, sort of like on like sort of in one of the corners, I don't think it's visible. I think it's dark enough that you really don't see it. But there's, because of the moonlight, you see a glint across like the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of see that up there. It's like, well, hey there, you. I'm gonna slowly start making my way over in that direction. But I'm definitely not getting close, because if I'm anywhere within the range that it could just jump down, probably bad.
Yeah.
So I'm staying outside of where I know that leap range probably is.
Let's do I think that you absolutely saw the eyes, but then they disappeared. Let's do a notice versus the spider's stealth.
That makes sense. All right. Oh, sorry, that was a plus.
That was a plus, I saw it. All right, so she has a +3. So
Stealth.
that's just a +3.
I also rolled a 3, actually.
Oh, yeah. So I think that then what keeps happening is you see the glint of her eyes, but like they move, right?
Yeah.
So you're tracking, but you're not like seeing her.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over towards, because I see the webs and stuff around. I know how these work. I know that the spiders can feel the movements within the webs. And so I think what happens is Broker kind of walks over towards one of the corners where there is the web. And I kind of just use one of my claws and just very gently kind of just pluck it a little bit. And I think, no joke, I think what he's going to do is he's going to just sort of grab a bunch of these different strings and almost start like a harp, almost
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
pulling these different bits. Because he knows that the different vibrations definitely affect the spiders in different ways.
Yeah.
So he's kind of just like, ding, 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 ding. Almost musical to a degree. It's a little discordant.
Like a snake charmer.
Yeah. Because I want it to come over this way.
Okay.
And I want it to feel those vibrations.
Let's do. I feel like this is creating an advantage here. This would be your mount for sure.
Yeah, definitely a mounts check. Oh, that sucks. I mean, it ends up being a neutral.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I have a +2 to checks made to interact with a mount. So this would be a mount creature. So this would end up being a +2, just a flat +2.
Okay. Yeah, I think that works. We'll say you create the advantage of Curious Queen. I think because she's a beautiful, beautiful spider.
Yeah, I want to know what she looks like. 'Cause I'm trying to-
I have one type of spider in my head, and it's a tarantula. That's the only type of spider I know. That's
That would be like a fucking spider colossus.
Yeah, it's not a tarantula.
That would be badass though.
Yeah.
Like a big tarantula boss.
It's not a boss.
No, I know. I'm saying like in the main game.
I see.
No, that'd be badass.
I don't want to Google spiders because I think that's a bad Google term for me.
No.
So we'll say.
Can I come up with
if there's one that's
because I feel like the usual spiders I tend to deal with, nothing insane. They're usually just like the standard kind of like brown looking spiders that live in a lot of houses.
Yeah.
Definitely a little bigger than most.
Yeah.
The
scale of spiders in this world are a little
it
weird.
really varies.
Yeah.
Especially imagination-based stuff
Yeah.
too is definitely gonna fuck with it.
Yeah.
But usually, they got kind of like the long spindly legs. They're a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one, because of her title as a queen,
Yeah.
definitely has a unique vibe to her, where I feel like her fur and her entire appearance is definitely like this very like inky black, almost actually very similar in tone to kind of some of the ink that drips from Broker, as well as having these like very distinct kind of like reddish markings, especially like along the abdomen. Okay. Definitely bigger than the other spiders that I've mostly been around.
Yeah. Oh, is this the biggest spider you've ever seen now?
Almost certainly.
Oh.
Because you said she was a queen.
Yeah.
Broker's definitely seen a lot of spiders, but he mostly raises them from like a young age.
From babies.
Yeah, so like this is like, okay, that's a lot.
So again, you see why you were the one called in to do this.
I'm like, okay. Definitely, probably venomous fangs. You look like a nice lady. Oh boy. Now, I do know how to deal with these things.
Yeah.
But I also know that they need to be soothed first. So my hope is that kind of in plucking the webs, she would end up sort of getting onto my same level.
Yeah. I think that
calling
for
her down from the
for
walls.
sure happens. I think once she gets down to floor level, you're like, fuck.
That's a really big fucking spider.
That's a big spider.
Yeah.
And she's not like, she is doing the thing that like deer do, where they're like looking at you, but you know if you move any closer.
You know, there's this like kind of on edge.
Yeah,
it's
something's gonna happen. So,
Okay.
do you think any movement would trigger like a major defense here? This is more of like, I'm asking you for what you're imagining spider lore to be.
I feel like the way that spiders, so like, at least in reality, the way that spiders tend to work is that they just wait for a really long time until they feel something. And so I feel like for spiders, you could almost have like a stare down for like hours if you didn't move.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's this thing where like, if I move anywhere closer, there's definitely going to be like an almost immediate instinctual response.
Yeah.
But if I back away, it's like you're leaving my territory. If I stay still, it's just this sort of scanning, analyzing threat kind of situation.
Okay.
And I think what happens is that as I'm just staring down this queen, I'm doing the thing where I'm like, okay, what the hell am I gonna do to get out of this situation? Because I need to interact with this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of looking around. I'm like looking at all the webs, and I'm doing the thing where I know how dangerous it would be if I stepped backwards into a web and was not being careful about it. Now I do think I've spider-proofed some of my stuff, but there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like looking, eyeing the room, and then I look up. And like in that corner where she was like probably in most likely before, there's a ton of webs in that area. And I think I noticed that it's like a really, really tightly packed ball. And I'm just like, oh, I didn't know you were expected. That would explain the territorial nature. And oh my God, it's gonna get so much crazier up here in a little bit. Oh, okay. And I'm gonna sort of reach into my bag. I definitely know that they have a taste for specific things.
Sure.
It's probably gross stuff, to be fair. It's probably like a bag that just has like bits of stuff that spiders like eating, which is probably other bugs.
Bugs, yeah.
So I don't need to go into detail on that, but I
No.
definitely grab some of like the little bits and pieces and kind of like toss it on the web.
It might be fun to say that you have like a flypaper dealer.
What kind of pieces you got in today? Oh, we got a whole fly today. It's like, oh wow, that's not common.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And it's that flypaper dealer is probably so fucked up looking because he probably got caught in a couple of them.
Oh yeah, no, he's got horribly scarred.
Yeah.
Flypaper's dangerous
Yeah.
to face.
Yeah. Oh God, I love this guy. What's his name?
Come back to him, but
We'll come back to him later.
but like,
I want to say Alejandro for some reason.
I can't do a Spanish accent.
You don't need to. He could just be named Alejandro, but
can't
not be
I
Spanish.
can't even spell Alejandro.
It's Alejaandro.
Yeah, no. Okay, great, Alejandro.
I had to really think about that.
Lady Gaga would be so disappointed in me.
That's so true. Every time he talks, we need a Spanish guitar like in the background. But he just speaks like, he just has a totally normal, like, hey guys. Hey, I'm Alejandro. Anyways,
okay.
but yeah, I'm taking some of the little bits and pieces,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of like, just really slowly kind of like sprinkling them along the web.
Okay.
And I'm kind of sort of taking some of them, kind of tossing a little bit in front of me, and I'm kind of backing up a little bit, sort of showing like, I'm not a threat.
Yeah.
That's not what I am. I am trying to give you something.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of sprinkling
Yeah.
a few things out and about.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't see any reason why she wouldn't. I mean, I think she's a spider who likes tasty treats.
Yeah.
Giving her treats.
I am imagining the scale difference of this, and it's
Yeah.
terrifying.
I love her.
Broker is like the Fae equivalent of like 6'5" or something,
Yeah.
insanely tall,
Yeah.
and she's towering
Yeah.
above him. So
Yeah.
he's just like, okay.
Yeah.
So I think what happens
Like
is
a big horse, like a draft horse.
yes, it's the difference between a regular horse and like a fucking Clydesdale
Yeah.
or whatever. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Those guys are big.
So yeah, so I'm sprinkling all the like the little bits around and stuff like that, and I think Broker just naturally, he just has kind of like an aura with these things because he's spent so long around them that it's
Yeah.
clear that there's like not a threat. Like
Yeah.
he kind of knows the body language,
Broker, horse, girl, now.
and he probably even like I don't know what sound spiders would make because I don't think they really would.
No, but I'm just imagining like
Little chittering.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can he can kind of like.
clicking.
He can kind of like click the claws together a little bit in such a way that just kind of sounds akin.
Like the way like you can call horses, like
Yeah, just that kind of
Yeah.
deal. Yeah. So he's kind of just making those soft little sounds, and as he's sprinkling things around, she's getting closer. He's like, okay, all right. Definitely not off guard for
Yeah.
sure. Just like, okay, this is gonna work. I really hope.
yeah.
And as she gets close enough that like she's within range, so that there could be some sort of touch, I'm gonna pull out like the biggest piece of whatever it is that I have and kind of just, alrighty, now you gotta not bite me now, you understand? Because that's gonna be real bad.
Okay, let's do. I think this is contested for sure.
This has got to be a mounts, right?
Yeah. And like, I don't really know what her skill would be here.
Couldn't even fucking tell you.
Will maybe?
Will makes sense.
I think, and she doesn't have that.
She's a spider.
She's a spider. That's a
Net
that's a
neutral.
Zero, and you got a plus.
I got a 5.
Holy shit!
I'm
Holy
good with these
crap,
things. That's,
yeah.
that's the thing I'm supposed to do.
Let's go. Okay, so yeah, so tell me what that looks like.
So I think what ends up happening is as I sort of like pull out this big hunk of meat and I kind of like put it in front of her, just that thing where she kind of just slowly walks towards it and just it's the very gentle kind of like just grabs the little piece
Yeah.
and I'm like, alrighty, so you ain't gonna mind if I just kind of, I know that these spots tend to be kind of nice, kind of gonna scritch up like right next to like a little bit behind where the eyes are, and I'm gonna kind of sort of kind of scritch a little bit, go more underneath where I know there's more like sensitive parts, and I'm just, alrighty, that's a good spider. All right, and I'm gonna spend some time just kind of calming this thing down until it knows I'm a friend.
Yeah.
And that probably actually takes a while.
Yeah.
Because I just want to make sure it doesn't think I'm trying to steal from it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want it to think, it's got babies.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
Yeah.
Now, so I think I'm going to spend some time sort of scritching it, calming it down. And eventually, it's probably going to take like 16 hours or something insane like that, where I'm just staring and waiting for it to fall asleep.
Okay.
Definitely some point where I just kind of like pull out like the canteen. I'm like, thank God I brought coffee.
I'll give you a self-compel on that because we'll say that that's against Pine's like anger issues.
Yeah, I know
sure.
for a fact that he would not
Yeah, he's
like
gonna
this.
be pissed off.
But
for
I have
sure.
to.
Yeah, so I'll give you a fate point for that.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, walk me through the rest of this. How do you get the
Really
the
tired.
veil? You are picturing something different than I was picturing, which is fine. So I want to hear what you have to say for that.
For the rest of the story?
For like how you acquire the spider silk for the veil.
Yeah, so I think what happens is after the mama finally falls asleep, I take some time making sure she's actually out. And I sort of reach into my bag and I pull out. I've definitely been collecting and working with a couple different types of venoms and stuff before. And so I just very gently, like this is not meant to cause harm in any way. I find like a tiny little gap in sort of like some of the plating of the exoskeleton that spiders have, and kind of just very gently take a little teeny needle prick and just kind of with one of these little bits of venom that's supposed to make things sleep deeper.
Okay.
It's a tranquilizer, basically.
Yeah, sure.
Just make sure she stays asleep. Once she does that, I go over towards where that big old clump of spider eggs are. Because I know that that's less meant to capture other things and is more meant to actually be like a soft cushion. So I'm like, that's actually what I need to go for.
Yeah.
So as I climb up that way, I definitely do the thing where I have to go around some of the bigger webs.
Yeah.
It takes a while probably to get up there, using the claws to kind of sink it into the wood and kind of climb my way up. As I get up there, I definitely pull out some of these little, I have these little shears that I definitely carry around for this exact purpose.
Yeah.
As well as some, definitely some like oily substances that I've collected over time that make it so that the spider webs don't stick. So they're just like really strong ropes, basically.
Yeah.
I start slowly sort of cutting away at the outside of this little spider egg sac. Not enough to damage it, but enough to collect some of the important bits.
Yeah.
But as I'm doing it, there's no way that Broker isn't sort of cutting into it, kind of looking at it and going, and looking at the big one, and looking back at this, and he's like, wow, definitely gonna cut off a pretty big piece and kind of like peel away some of it and see just like thousands, spiders, they have thousands of eggs.
Yeah.
Kind of just like pull out a little bag, grab just like a dozen or so, kind of put that away.
Yeah.
Hold on to those.
That's for later.
That's for later. Okay, definitely gonna finish up my collecting, make sure that the egg sac thing is fully sort of like repaired when I'm done. I take some of the other silk and kind of like, yeah, it's definitely not as good as, spiders are weavers. I am merely an appreciator of their art.
Yeah.
But I finish putting that back together, climb back down.
So what do you have? Like you have like a piece of.
It's like folded cloth.
Okay,
Basically,
that's
like
what I was
I've just been
thinking.
kind of collecting it and kind of like sort of wrapping it up as it
Wrapping it.
goes. So it's like a big like tube of it, basically.
Yeah,
at this
a
point.
bolt of cloth, basically. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, so I kind of have that tucked under my arm.
Yeah.
I go back over to the big mama spider, give her a little scritch.
Yeah.
She's asleep.
Yeah.
Tuck that away back in my bag. Definitely have, of course, equipment to carry that kind of stuff. Again, super sticky, so you gotta be really careful.
Yeah, like a oiled cloth that goes around it or something
Exactly,
like
and
that.
then tuck that back away.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, well, it has been wonderful, and I am so tired. So, bye-bye. Gonna climb really slowly. Don't want to wake this fucking thing up.
Yeah. No, I think you've made it pretty clear that you've created your own way to navigate the situation. Okay. Do you stop at no one's house and like crash in his hovel? Like, how do we get down?
I think I need to leave first, because I think Broker's
You want to communicate with Pine exhausted?
tired. I don't think he does. But I think Broker's worry right now is, well, I need rest, but I don't want to be anywhere near this clock when that thing fucking wakes up, just in case it notices.
Okay, fair.
I feel bad for those two.
They live in the clock. They know.
It's fine. They know there's spider problems. So yeah, I gotta get the fuck out of. I at least need to get to like the base floor of this fucking place before I leave. So yeah, I'm making my way back across the gears, being really careful. It's a very slow process.
Then let's do another check.
It's definitely not me trying to like speed across it like with
okay.
the sugar before.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, this is the only way I'm gonna get across here. I'm like, no. If I don't do this right, I'm just gonna fall into the gears and die. So like, let's take this slowly.
Yeah. You hear the narrative voice in your head saying, "Sorry, you can't die."
Yeah. Why's that?
Stuff for later. Shh.
All right. Can I use a stealth check for this then? I'm being slow and methodical.
You're seeing the numbers? Get out of here.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I don't know what the hell that just was. What just happened?
Whoa.
Oh, I saw into the Matrix. For just 1 second, he's like, boom.
Yeah, stealth is fine.
God,
It's got to be against a notice then.
It's not good.
Well, it's against a notice, and the gears are, in fact, gears.
They are gears.
And I got a 0, so.
I got a +1.
Yeah, so I think it's like risky, but you
Yeah,
make it
it
through.
definitely
That's a
takes some
shifted
time.
one. Yeah.
Doing the thing where I'm just like, every once in a while when there's like a stable piece, I'm just like,
You like spin in a circle on one of them.
yeah,
for a little bit.
I'm standing on one of like the teeny ones and
Yeah.
I'm just slowly
Yeah,
rotating.
rotating
I
around.
pull back out the canteen, just,
Microwave edit of broker.
all right, back to business.
Okay, cool.
Ain't the first time I pulled an all-nighter. Doesn't feel good though.
Cool. Yeah, so you make it out of the grandfather clock, and then back into the underground.
Yeah,
And you just go back to Pine, I imagine?
yeah, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
He's not happy. He's actually not even yelling, which is like rare
Yeah.
for this angry man.
No, I'm just looking at him and I'm like, look, you got a week. Nobody else is gonna get this to you any faster.
And his back is to you, like you don't even see this man's face, and shaking, like so mad. And his daughter comes in, Mahogany, and she like lays a hand on him, and he's so mad, and, like shaking. She gives up. And she takes the bolt from you.
Yeah, I pull out with the cloth and I'm
Yeah.
like, just so you know, this stuff is, this cloth and this stuff, real rare. Take good care of it.
She puts it slowly to the side, and she gives you a big hug.
Yeah, I feel like Broker's just nicer when it comes to people that seem kind.
Yeah. And
So he's just like, he's being very just like,
yeah. And she,
thank you. You have a very nice outfit. You don't want to get this, you don't want to get ink on it.
and she doesn't let go. And she whispers a thank you in your ear.
You're welcome.
And then
thank
she walks away. She's covered in your ink and doesn't seem to mind at all. Like does not bother her. It's not even a wipe of the face. It does not bother her. And she goes over to her father. She whispers in his ear, and he like calms down a little bit. He motions, and some goons come out with all your stuff. So you have all your things that you asked for.
Perfect.
And Mahogany leaves, and Pine turns around and he gives you a look, and he says, "Don't expect any favors. Come back here again."
That's always how it is, isn't it? You do something real nice for someone, and they
I
kick you
thought
out.
this was an agreement.
Oh, one here I was thinking I was making connections.
And he's looking at his goons, and there's a thought crosses his face, but he doesn't do anything. And he turns back around, back to you. And he says, "There's something to be said about skill, and I'm not sure what can be said about yours." And he walks away.
Gonna look towards one of the big guys near me. Mm-hmm. You always like this?
I guess.
What, you just get hired?
Yeah, I'm a new hire.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't like my old job, so this is better.
Yeah, you definitely got the build for it.
Oh, thank you. I work out.
Yeah, I can tell.
Thank you. I think he's serious.
I think we're like walking out of the
Yeah,
office.
yeah,
as we're,
like
they're
walking.
helping me like wheel the things out.
Yeah, they're
I'm just
pushing
like,
all your
yeah,
stuff.
Of course.
Yeah. I think he's serious. He seems to be rather just angry and
Yeah.
doing things these days. Here's the thing about Pine. he means what he says, and he's not afraid to do away with some fairies.
Yeah, no, I picked up on that.
So I just think that, it's better to stay on his good side. I don't think he hates you. I just think he was really stressed about the wedding, was hoping that would be less stressful than that.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's ever going to realize that there wasn't really any faster that could get done.
And the other one is like, well, I think he thinks that he could have done it too. So it's a little bit of a
Yeah, no, he would have died.
Well, he's just very much a delegator and not a doer. But
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, you two.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in the neighborhood, let us know, and we'll make sure that he doesn't know. But
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
you seem like a nice fella.
I'll try my best. A lot of people don't like me, though.
I don't think that Pine likes anybody, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, interesting that he was so caught up in this whole idea about family.
Well, I mean, let me just say, I don't like my mom.
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of angry parents out there.
So sometimes it's about, you don't really like your family, but I think to him, family means control.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
I don't know if you heard, but this whole wedding is a big excuse to get all the big guns in this underground.
Really?
He's invited all the top dogs.
Is it something that Mahogany wants?
Oh, no. She didn't want a wedding in the first place. She just wanted to be married.
So this is pretty much purely just for show?
Oh, always is. I think you maintain control by the flamboyance. That's not the word I was looking for, but
Yeah.
the performance.
Does,
Acting.
I wanted to actually talk real quick. I forgot to mention something. It was about the spider silk. Do you know where Mahogany went off to?
Oh, well, I mean, I imagine you can find her with her fiance. They've been hanging out at the new cafe.
Right. Again, just real quick. Does she want to hang out with him, or is it sort of like a for show thing?
But that's her dad. She doesn't really have much choice.
Okay. Well, thank you. I just wanted to.
Where do you want us to store your things?
Oh, well, just for now, why don't we store it out front? We can get a wagon together so
Okay.
I can quickly get out.
I'll go talk to Paul.
Yeah, Paul knows his stuff.
Paul got wagon.
That guy is a professional in the wagon business. Everybody knows Paul.
Everybody knows Paul. Paul goes all throughout Diction with wagons.
Dude, everybody. Like, no matter what kingdom.
Yeah.
You invoke his name.
Yeah. And Paul shows up with a wagon.
And there's Paul.
And there's Paul. He's like a taxi driver.
Yeah.
No, actually, fuck, I like that.
We love Paul.
Taxi driver Paul, who's summonable.
He uses his imagination powers purely to be a taxi driver.
Yeah, like he uses it so well that you can just say his name and he appears.
I love that. But like you can't overdo it or else
No.
like you need to make sure like it's a rare occurrence.
You have to have paid forward. Like you have to pay for Paul before he shows up.
No, that makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. We should talk about this later off camera.
This is so stupid! Okay, you want to go to talk to Mahogany?
Yes, I want to talk to Mahogany.
Okay. Yes, there's a new cafe. It seems like in this steampunky underground world that's growing and changing and shifting as more people are moving in and building and being criminals in the underground, Mahogany has tried to carve out a place of normalcy. The cafe is hers, and her fiance, who her fiance's name is Red, who I love as well. So you see them when you go to this cafe. They're not behind the bar. They're just kind of like at a table. And Mahogany is a more petite-looking fairy who has some lunar moth wings, but she's got like more of a like neutral palette. And
I've always liked those lunar moth wings.
her fiance is Red, who is a very ethereal-looking, taller fairy with long auburn hair, who just has like a glitter about her. So they're sitting at a table.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go over and just sort of I'm definitely not trying to like intrude. I'm not.
No.
But there's like a little part of me that's like, are they talking about anything important? So I'm gonna
You're gonna eavesdrop.
I'm only gonna eavesdrop on the way over there, so it's
Okay.
not like an excessive amount of
Yeah.
time, just to see if I can pick up anything.
No, they're just talking wedding details.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna head on over there and just say, hey, Mahogany, right?
Yes.
Right. I wanted to talk a little more about the specifics that silk that I got you.
Yeah.
I was wondering, because it's kind of like a design thing. I'm going to look over towards Red and be like, it's kind of a secret of the trade thing.
Red puts up her hands and walks behind the bar to help the
Thank you.
people there. And as she walks away, you see Red like do a little glimmer illusion shift change, and now she looks like a small fairy with like really shaggy bluish purple hair and much longer ears. So she's like changed her whole appearance. Her height is still the same.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit down across from Mahogany and just be like, hey, so I don't mean to pry into anything going on. You know, I'm sure you got a lot of personal stuff going on, especially with the wedding and all that. And I know you haven't really met me, but you seem kind,
Well, thank you.
and I appreciated that you. Well, I appreciate that you said thank you instead of your father.
Well, you know, he would have eventually. He just gets really steamed up very quickly. He settles down.
Do you like being here?
I like that I can make a place where people can come and just hang out.
Right. Do you like being part of his whole thing? I mean, you, from what I can tell, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm overstepping, that you can tell me to leave. But, I mean, you're about to get married you don't want to have this wedding,
I want to be married.
but not with them.
Please, if this is you trying to
I'm not trying to say anything.
break up my marriage,
I want to make sure that if there's anything wrong, that I can help.
what would be wrong? I'm going to get married to the love of my life. I don't understand what you're asking me here.
Family's weird. I'm just making sure that everything's comfortable at home, I guess. Sorry, I might be overthinking things.
I don't know what you could do if it wasn't.
I guess it's not important. I just know how to get places real fast,
And my fiance knows how to look like different people.
which is really fucking impressive, by
It's
the
really
way.
cool. So I'm not in danger of being noticed.
Okay, good. You just, like I said, you seem like a kind person.
I know, I don't seem like I belong in the underground. Blah, blah,
It's
blah,
not
blah.
that. It's that I just want to make sure you're not in danger.
I can fend for myself, sir.
Good.
Thank you.
If you need any more spider silk,
Thank you. I don't know why he wants a big... I would, in this outfit, get married. But, you know, it's all about the show.
why don't you? Why don't you have your own little thing? Just invite the friends, and then, yeah, you still have the whole big fucking explosion thing where they invite everybody, but invite the people you care about.
And she puts her hands on the table, and you can see that there is a little, like a imagination line on her hand, and she like lets it up, and there's a ring there, and then she puts it back, and there's just her fingers there. She's like, I already did.
Good.
It's just, you know, I don't know what the whole showboating is about. It's like he's trying to overcompensate for being new.
With a lot of these new bosses of sorts, they think that if they don't show off their power, that other people aren't going to respect them.
Yeah.
He's afraid of losing it. And let me tell you, my boss ain't exactly impressed.
Well, that's not any of my business.
Yeah, sorry.
Do not care, because if I have to hear one more thing, I'm going to lose my mind.
I apologize.
That's okay. I just try to make things normal here as much as I can. That's why I asked for us to be at the clock.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can hear the time. I can keep a steady rhythm. I'm not disconnected from the rest of the library. I can be normal.
Normal.
I mean, as much as any of us can be normal, none of us are actually normal. You know that, right? You're probably more normal than the rest of us.
I don't think I'm more normal than anybody else. But I
We're
definitely, I get the call, that desire to blend in and have a normal life.
I'm just gonna keep my head down. Who knows? Anything can happen.
I don't know where I'm gonna end up. I don't know where I'm going next. Frankly, I'm gonna head back to the aqueducts, probably be there for a while. Even the first person in a real long time to actually be nice. I think that's why I wanted to make sure everything was okay.
I'm okay. I promise. I'm okay.
I know.
But
I'm not saying that.
I need you to think about why you feel the need to rescue me. Just think about it. You don't have to give me an answer. But when you see somebody that you want to make sure they're okay, maybe just let them figure things out on their own for a little bit. You don't have to save everybody. You can just be friends with them.
I don't think I saved much of anybody.
Well, you saved the wedding, so.
I saved your father's wedding.
Yeah, that's true.
Ain't exactly an achievement.
Well, could have been worse if we didn't. A whole thing. That could have been the butterfly that exploded everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that it's worth just being nice. I've networked just as well as my father by being myself.
You said friends. Being friends with people.
Yeah.
I assume you don't mean friends in the same way that most of these people use the word friends.
They mean people to manipulate.
Yeah.
I just mean friends. Do you want to be friends?
I don't know if I can do that, but I can try.
You don't have to do anything. It's not like there's not a list of requirements. I just every so often say hi. That's what a friend does.
So you wouldn't mind if I stopped by if I'm...
You might want to, I can come out. You might want to send somebody in. I don't know if, you might need to give my father a little bit of a break.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to skip down right after
But
this.
if you're, coming through, I know that it's a big travel to get here. But you could send someone in and I can sneak out and we can meet in a different section.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
Sorry about the confusion.
It takes a really long time for me to figure out when somebody is trying to use me, but pretty clear you're not, so.
No, it was just genuine concern.
I'm okay.
Good. That's actually really nice to hear.
Sometimes you have to work through your situation. Sometimes you can't leave it. It's okay.
Yeah, work through it.
Work through it. And that's why you have friends. They help you work through it. Or in my case, a beautiful fiance. Well, wife, but don't say anything.
She's pretty cool.
Yeah, and now she looks different. Okay.
She can just do that?
She can just do it. She's tried to teach me, and I can only change my hair color.
Yeah, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, The thing about imagination is that if you focus and concentrate, you can have one thing you're really good at. But she's not good at anything else. She cannot cook.
I've never been able to use it very well.
Well, you can learn, or you work around it.
That's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so I've probably overstayed my.
You don't have to leave because we're having a conversation. That's what friends do. We sit down in cafes and have conversations. Can my fiance come back now?
Yeah, oh, sorry. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, no, I apologize. Yeah.
So Mahogany waves Red over and introduces the two of you, and Red shakes your hand. She doesn't care either. They're nice. They're nice.
I feel bad. I just feel like I'm getting ink everywhere.
And nobody seems to care. Red grabs a rag off of the island and wipes it down and is like, there, see, everybody's happy.
Yeah, no, yeah. I wish more people would just do that.
Just clean it up. It's fine. And unless you need anything else from the happy couple.
No.
Cool.
I think we just kind of hang out.
You hang out. They don't kick you out. They don't ask you to leave. There's no sudden change of heart. They're just hanging out. They do have to run the business. So every so often something happens that somebody has to go and run and do something.
The broker definitely keeps doing the thing where he's like, I mean, I can go if you're busy.
Like,
and they're like, you don't have to.
You don't have to go. You can if you want to.
He's like, I don't get this at all. This is weird.
And I think maybe you even notice that there are like a couple of the regulars that come in that are also like just strange and unusual fae that they like say hi to and like they seem friendly with.
Huh.
So, yeah, cool. And I imagine you go on your way.
Yeah, definitely do the usual thing and like leave by dawn.
I've already edited this part out.
Thank you for watching Health Hits Experience. I hope you enjoyed this pre-recorded backstory session that I worked really hard on getting ready for you. I definitely had some fun editing it, and I hope that you enjoyed watching this live, even though it wasn't actually live. Special thanks to just me, really, because it was a one-man show for a little bit of time. But thank you to everybody who is participating in the chat right now, as well as our moderators. Thank you to Community Access Media for the use of their facilities and equipment. And thanks to you for watching. Goodbye.